Hey guys, Henry here with another little video for you. My bow is in the shop right now, so I am not shooting today. So I had the day off, so I did some little improvement projects on my tree stand here. This is a Summit Sentry climber. I got this last year. It's a great stand. I love it. I'd never been in a tree stand before, any type of tree stand really, let alone a climber up until last year. So this was the first one that I went with, and so far I love it. But I just wanted to make a couple little DIY improvements to it, just to kind of address some things I had noticed from last season that I just thought I could make a little bit better. So basically, like any other climbing stand, it's got the seat platform here, and then this is the foot stand platform. So when it's on the tree, it's actually going to go, this is going to go on the bottom, and then this is going to go on the top. That's where you sit, and you kind of just shimmy your way up the tree. But anyway, so some things that I did, I noticed that when I nest it together into one piece, so I can put it on my back like a backpack and carry it in and out, it had a tendency to kind of clang and make a lot of noise, clunking into itself. These two pieces kind of clanking into each other. So what I had done last year, I got just some junk towels and just wrapped them around on this part and attached them on there, and that kind of deadened the noise a little bit. It softened it, but it was still kind of like a thud rather than a clang. But it was still pretty noisy. So what I did is I got some of this stuff, which is pipe insulation. It's just like foam, flexible stuff. I got this, I think it was $2 for 6 feet of it at Home Depot. It comes in different sizes. I got 3/4 inch because that was the largest size that they had. I could have definitely, if you look here, I could have definitely gone with a larger size, but this was the biggest that they had, so I just went with that. So I would say maybe at least like 1 inch or maybe even 1.5 inches would probably be better, but they didn't have that, so I just went with the 3/4. But I just cut it to size and just kind of hooked it on there with zip ties. I did 1, 2, and then 2 other little spots down here, and then also while I was at it, the seat flips down. This would be the sitting position when you're sitting in it, and then when you go to climb, you can fold the seat up. It would clang. That metal on metal would make a terrible clang every time you put that seat up. So I put a couple little spots there, and now you can see, I mean, almost no noise. It totally deadens that, so much quieter. So I think when this is nested together and I'm walking through the woods, it's going to be a whole lot better. So that was a nice $2 fix there. Second project, I installed this thing as a bow hanger on there. This hook was I think $2 or $3. It was pre-drilled with 2 1/4 inch holes. So what I did is I just took my drill bit and just ran a hole basically right through the center here. I know somebody's probably going to rip me up about this for drilling holes in the body of the stand, as far as compromising the integrity of it, which I guess could happen a little bit, but I think if you kind of use your head about where you put the holes, and you make sure with this square tubing, the strength of this tubing is in these right angle, these corners here. So you don't want to drill a hole up near the top or down near the bottom here, but I think as long as you make sure that you're right here dead center, you're not going to compromise that too bad. And also, obviously, I didn't put the hole right here on a joint or something like that. I made sure that I was off of where these welds are, so that's going to help out a little bit too. And also, this stand I think is rated for like either 250 or maybe 300 pounds. I'm about $140, and maybe with all my gear I might be up to like 160, 170 tops in the stand, so I'm nowhere near maxing this thing out on weight. So I think that I'll be in good shape there. So anyway, I ran a couple holes through here, all the way through. Then I had a couple lengths of this 1/4 inch threaded rod. So I actually just cut this in half to make 2 lengths like that, and then ran those through there, and put a washer and a bolt on each side and tightened it down. And then I just took my sanding tool on my Dremel and I just kind of rounded, well, I cut the excess off. The excess rod was sticking out probably an inch on either side. And I just kind of cut that basically flush. And then I just rounded them off a little bit so that when I go to hang the bow here, I don't, you know, scratch the limbs or anything like that. What I will probably end up doing also is this metal is painted, but it's not really coated with anything. So this still could probably be pretty loud or potentially scratch the bow. So what I likely will do is either get like some type of rubber coating like Flex Seal or something, and maybe go over top of these, or maybe just some electrical tape and just run that around there to kind of further quiet it down. But if you look, when I'm sitting in this, this will be on my left-hand side. So I'm a right-handed shooter, which means that my left hand is going to be my bow hand. So I'm going to put it so it sits, when I'm sitting down, it sits to my left side, so it'll be right here, basically, when I'm sitting in the stand. So I can just, when a deer pops up, pick the bow right up, and it's already in the correct position pretty much to go ahead and draw back and get in position for a shot. So last season I basically just spent the entire time with my bow sitting across my lap, which wasn't the worst thing in the world, but just to have someplace to hang it, I think will be nice. I know some guys, a lot of guys, will just get the screw-in hooks that screw into the trees, which is fine, but I hunt a lot on public land, so I'm not really supposed to be screwing anything into the tree. And also, just it kind of seems like a pain in the neck, like an extra step to do. So just to have this on there, and this thing is, I mean, it's rock solid. It's not going anywhere. So that's going to be good. The one little concern that I kind of have about it is kind of sticking out there. So when I'm walking through the brush, you know, I'm hoping that it's not going to hook on stuff too bad. But I'm thinking that when I wear the stand, I'm here, and when I'm walking, this will be facing this way, so stuff should pretty much, you know, if I walk by some saplings or something, it should kind of go around it rather than hooking on this way. So I think I should be in good shape there. But I guess I'll test it out and see how it works. So that's project number 2. This is the hook. And then project number 3. What I did here was I got some of this material. It was actually, I'll show you here. It's a floor mat. And it's made out of this kind of thick, pretty heavy-duty rubberized material. And these things are great. I work in a restaurant, and we have hard tile floors, and we're standing for 8, 10, 12 hours at a time. And these things make a huge difference in terms of foot fatigue, and they are also very non-slip also. So it's great traction, you know, so you're not sliding all over the place. So I decided that I wanted to put that on here. So what I did is I bought this whole thing. It was 15 bucks, and I just kind of laid it on the stand. I could have, I guess, could have trimmed it to size first and then attached it, but what I basically did was kind of attached on one side, and then as I attached with, again, zip ties, you can see I bought a pack of 100 zip ties for this project, and I got 5 of them left, so I used about 95 zip ties to hook this bad boy on there. But as I hooked the zip ties on, I just kind of trimmed around the outside as I went and made like a nice flush, you know. And I really kind of went overkill with these zip ties. You can see how many I put on here. Basically, almost like every inch I put a zip tie. And these slats here are what the stand naturally came with for the floor. But I had a little. I'm kind of clumsy, so I don't want to trip. And I noticed, you know, my feet would kind of go in between these slats sometimes, especially you can see here at the back. There's kind of a big space here between this last slat and the frame. And my foot could actually go right through that. So I put this on there to kind of help mitigate that. But it's also, I think, going to do some other things too. It's going to, of course, deaden noise. So when my boot's hitting this, it's going to make a little bit less noise. I kind of talked about the traction. It's going to give a lot better, you know, this frame material, it's painted. This is slippery. When it gets wet, you could easily slip on that. So this is going to give me a lot better traction standing up out in the elements. And then also, I'm from New York, and our bow season, even our early bow season, you know, we're talking about October, November, it's starting to get cold up here already. And our late bow season goes all the way through mid-December, so it gets real cold. And I noticed that when I've got my feet sitting on this metal platform and it's cold out, the metal gets cold, and then that cold feeling just kind of absorbs right through the soles of my feet, and my feet start getting cold. And then once my feet get cold, I just get cold, period. And nobody wants to be freezing when they're out there in the woods, so I think that this is going to be, it's not, I'm sure, the best insulating material, but it will provide a little bit of a buffer so that my feet aren't sitting right on that cold metal. So I think that's gonna help me out too. And then one last other thing too, like I kind of said with the slats, with my feet going in between them. Also, if I happen to drop anything, last year I was climbing up and I had my tow rope in my pocket to tow my bow up, and it fell out of my pocket and went right in between these slats and fell all the way back down to the ground. I had to climb all the way back down to get it. And then I climbed back up, and as soon as I got back up to the top of the tree, I hadn't towed the bow back up yet, but a doe walked right past me, and I had no chance of a shot because my bow was still on the ground. Essentially, I still hadn't towed my bow up yet. So, what I'm thinking here is this will also help if I, drop my release, drop my phone, drop anything else. It's not going to slip through these slats now. It's going to catch it, and it's not going to make a clang kind of noise. If it falls, it's just going to kind of make a dull kind of thump, so it's going to help deaden out that noise too. So the one downside, of course, with this is I'm adding some weight. I'd say probably all said and done here, I may have added 2 or 3 pounds. But this thing, I think, this stand started out about 23 pounds, so I think, it's pretty light already. So adding 3 pounds, I mean, it's a little bit of extra weight. But the furthest I ever really have to hike, it's probably maybe one mile tops, not even that, to get to most of my spots. So I think for me, the added weight is going to be worth some of the stuff that I put on here, as far as the noise reduction and the comfort level, with the mat on the floor and the hook and that. So if you guys have any questions or anything about how I did any of this, I know this is kind of just a quick little video, but what I'll actually do here is I'll nest the stand together and just kind of show you how that's going to help reduce the noise a little bit. So just give me 1 second here. Alright. So now I got it nested together, and you can kind of see where that is. This insulation is going to help these contact points so it's not clanging together as I'm walking. Obviously, I got a strap over here that straps it, tight so it doesn't move around at all. But this, I think, is going to help out quite a bit. So yeah, that was my little project for the day today. Doing a little work on my stand, and just trying to get ready for the fall and the upcoming season. Hopefully I'll get my bow back pretty soon here, and I'll be back out shooting. So at least I found something to keep myself busy for the day. Again, if you guys got any questions or anything about this stand or about anything that I did, just go ahead and shoot me a message, or on Facebook. I'm on the Bowhunters of America group on Facebook, or you can just leave a comment on here. Or whatever, but just some ideas for you if you're thinking about doing some improvements to your stand. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.